The kid's name is Barney Ross, and his mother and his father came from Russia. He grew up in a Chicago ghetto on the wrong side of the tracks. The wrong side of the stockyards, where you have to fight your way down the street if you want to take a walk. He came up the hard way. He was one of the Golden Glove kids. In New York in the spring of 1934, he took on a fight with Jimmy McLarnin and carried off the world's welterweight championship. The first fighter in the world to hold both light and welterweight crowns.
The referee's decision makes a no welterweight champion.
He was never a fighter who kept his titles in mothballs. Garcia, Patrol, Giannazzo, and Armstrong, he faced the best fighters of his time and held the crown for 4 years.
The winner and still champion, Ross.
He quit the ring in 1938. But in 1943, the Boxing Writers Association gave him the award for the man who did most for the sport that year. Comeback? Yeah, he made a comeback. But he wasn't in trunks and gloves. He was wearing the fatigues of a buck private in the U.S. Marines. His name is Barney Ross. Here he is.
What's your jaw now? Let's quit a while, Barney. I'm pooped.
Okay, kid.
Say, Barney, I want to tell you.
Hey, jerk.
Yeah?
Sergeant Barney Ross to you. Private?
Yeah, sure. Say, Barney, how did you make sergeant?
Easy. First, you make corporal.
Well, how do you do that? I've been bucking for 6 months and nothing happened.
Really want to know?
Yeah, sure.
I guess there are a lot of ways of doing it, but I know just one. You take a boat to Guadalcanal and go in with the Marines. Hang around offshore while the Navy guns soften up the coast defenses. Then go over the side into the landing boats. I enlisted in April and was out in the jungle in September. That's pretty quick, but that's the way I wanted it. I had been rattling around ever since I quit boxing. I liked to get around to where the show was, and this looked like the biggest show on earth. The road work on the island was nothing like the road work at Grossinger's, where I used to train. We used to get all baseball scores and fight returns over the radio, and we did a lot of betting. That was the only part of it that was anything like Jacobs Beach. There weren't any showers around. We went 15 days without washing and changing our socks, and any creek looked good. Of course, if you come from the west side in Chicago like I do, you know a lot about jungle fighting, infighting, cover and concealment, long before you see a jungle or a Jap. And coming from a neighborhood like that, and getting around the way I did, gives you plenty to fight for. Fighting in the ring is kid stuff compared to the fighting out there. Guadalcanal, it was a fight to the finish with no holds barred and no referee to break up the clinches. My company of Marines was spearheading the attack for a big army push over the Matanicow River, about 5 miles northwest of Henderson Field. I spent one night out there I'll never forget. A lot of guys have been through the same thing. We got stuck in a mortar crater, 5 wounded leathernecks, 2 soldiers and myself. The Japs weren't many yards away. They set up machine guns before the army behind us could dig in. I lobbed over some grenades at them, and as all the other boys were wounded, I emptied my own rifle and also fired theirs. The Japs never stopped firing all night. That night was by all odds the toughest round I have ever slugged through. For 10 days I had complete loss of memory from the pounding of the mortar. Anyhow, when I came to, they told me I was a corporal.
I hear you shot 22 Japs that night, Barney.
Yeah.
How about that being recommended for the Silver Star? When do you get it?
Well, I received it several days ago, but I accepted it only on behalf of my entire company. You know, this isn't a one-man's war.